Good morning, class. Brought to you by nothing because I don't have a Kickstarter going right now. But so we'll say brought to you by FarosLounge.com. But every time I show the signature title page, I get YouTube. So let's get into it. We have reached the halfway mark of our script, Chapter 4, the final chapter in our AracKnight graphic novel. Of course, we are going for 24 pages, but we were thinking maybe since it's the finale, we'll go ahead another 4 pages, but we'll see how the story plays out. So we might have 2 extra classes for this one to make it an even 100-page story. I just smoked weed, so I have to, I definitely got a dry throat. Let's just go through it real quick. We showed the grid underneath Empire City to open up our story. We showed the lizard in the wreckage of Dr. O's now destroyed headquarters, his lair. We showed the lizard pop out and attack a shark. We showed Spider-Man jump the gun, go into J. Jonah Jameson's Now Magazine Studios, rough up Jameson with a little web-to-the-wall action, and call out Dr. O. Make an impulsive move. Meet up with Dr. O on the top of Oscorp Tower where he places a spider tracer on him, but not before getting the living shit kicked out of him by Dr. O when the cops come there to save his life. And Dr. O gets away. The commissioner, scolds him for being careless and putting the city at risk for his impulsive move, regardless of whether it worked. And he said, if you're going to go after Dr. O, you're on your own, meaning he's turned his back on him for at least the rest of this story. And so we get the commissioner out of the way. Spider-Man goes back to recover from his beating from Dr. O, and even Uncle Ben gives him a little shit and says, look, you blame yourself for your parents' death. So no matter what you do as Spider-Man, it'll feel inadequate. So let me help you. You don't have to do it alone, he's telling him. And I believe that's got us all caught up here at the first half. So what we have here is Dr. O has to move a little faster because Norman Osborn, the mayor, has not caved to any of his demands. So Dr. O exposed Mayor Osborn as a murderer and a fraud. And Mayor Osborn he blew up his office, so we don't know if he's dead or if he's in hiding. There's no dead body up in the air. Spider-Man, of course, now doesn't have access to Osborn's tech, because with the explosion of the office, the tech was missing. And all they got was that exposure that apparently Mayor Osborn was behind the murder of Peter's parents. So it's very, very awkward that Spider-Man has to find the guy to either take his revenge, or he may be getting manipulated by Dr. O, like Uncle Ben believes. I was wondering if we're going to have that confrontation either here, or maybe in like an after-credit scene or something. We are only at the first half. Where we are right now is Uncle Ben and Peter were outside of the, we know that with the spider tracer, that Dr. O is now holed up in the Baxter building, which was sold to Oscorp when the Fantastic Four took off in the Mars colony. So we're doing some great shit over our last 3 chapters, and now we are halfway done with Chapter 4, the final chapter in our AracKnight graphic novel. I had this crazy thought if this actually takes off for a Phase 2, we would do the first third, the first act, 3 33-page stories. That would be, the next chapter of this, the AracKnight Returns, the Fantastic Four Mission to Mars, and Captain America, and the Indiana Jones, and the Horn of Atlantis. So, let's get caught up here. Let's write our second half. Let's get a lot of fucking crazy shit. I was hoping to really have Spider-Man just go ape shit in the Baxter building and beat the living crap out of all the minions. Spider-Man barely makes it inside to the canopy to the loft. Spider-Man falls out of Ben's grasp and into a reclining chair as he pours out a cup of tea for him. What I was thinking was here, I was messing around in my head last night, and I started dreaming and thinking, really, what to do with this? First, let's get caught up, and then I'll say what I really want to go with the story, and then we'll guide along and mine these comic books for ideas. We'll start by reading page 11, where we basically have Ben and Peter Parker are kind of hiding outside of the Baxter building, watching the minions who are now collecting tributes. Dr. O is literally taxing the city for half. He's taxing every citizen of Empire City for half their shit. And he has his minions going around the city collecting. They're bringing it all back to the Baxter building. Peter and Ben are outside saying, okay, what do we do? If I go in there as Spider-Man, his nanobots will pick me off on the goddamn walls. So Ben says, I have an idea. And he dresses up like a Willie Lumpkin, the old postal worker, comic relief cameo, cute little character that they used to have in the Fantastic Four. He was the mailman of the Baxter building. Hence, Ben will be impersonating the mailman. So let's read it up. As we see the assembly line of minions walking towards the Baxter building, we focus in on two particular minions, almost like stormtroopers. Boys, I say they're boys. Could you give me a hand? Yes, you two, the purple ones. Closing in on the two minions, they are approached by Uncle Ben, who is dressed as an older postal worker with the name Lumpkin. He's holding a large sack of mail and is playing it up for the minions. Greetings and good journeys, gentlemen. The name is Willie Lumpkin, and the Baxter has been the gem of my mail route for the last several cycles. Now I have a rather large tribute in my sack, donated from some of the finest families in the Empire. Unfortunately, the weight of all that blasted adamantium has just tested me to my limit, and I was wondering, did you say adamant? Take us there now. So the minions go with him. They get the opportunity to begin to follow away from the rest of the group, turning down an alley. Yes, sir, they say this damn scrap metal is unbreakable, but I'm no expert in the subject. It's all foil to me. We see two large cacophony bubbles. Let's make that plural. Bubbles. As off-panel, we hear Peter crack the two minions' heads together. SFX of the minions. Yes, sir, I planted it right here in this dark, seedy alley, so no one will get any ideas. Now, where is that damn bulb saber? We see Peter step out of the alleyway dressed up as one of the minions, fixing and tightening his outfit. Uncle Ben looks on as they plan to split off. Why purple? You can ask him yourself, kid. I'll drop these two lumps off at police headquarters. See what they could squeeze out of them. I'll leave your name out of it. Thanks, Ben. We see Peter pick up a case of shiny gold, much like the briefcase of Pulp Fiction, for some Easter egg fun, as he looks up towards the roof of the Baxter building, readying himself for a showdown with Dr. O. Good luck, kid, and remember, be patient. Don't look for a weakness. Wait for one. Tell him don't be impatient. Page 12. We use the classic shot from the Fantastic Four Annual #1 to show off the map and scale of the interior of the infamous Baxter building as Peter looks over the map in the front gateway of the building as he enters. Now we use that, so we'll probably end up using this for the scene. Let's get to... Here it is. This is from Fantastic Four Annual #1. This in our finale. Spider-Man Game of Death style is going to beat the living shit out of all these guys. Now, I originally had it where Spider-Man takes the elevator all the way to the top and then stares down Dr. Octopus. I need him to almost have that moment where he isn't immature. Like right here, I basically have him staring down Dr. Octopus, but I might change this now. Let's just read this over and see if he could start down here, get exposed, because what I wanted to literally do is, Peter says, can I fight this off? And I said, I shouldn't fight, I gotta do the smart thing. So what I see is, this is all being built. Okay, let's use this. Peter narrates, we use the classic shot from the Fantastic Four Annual #1 to show off the map and scale of the interior of the infamous Baxter building, as Peter looks over the map at the front gateway of the building as he enters. Peter narrates as he navigates his way through the building. The Baxter building was one of those pillars of Empire City's scientific history, and the reclusive Reed Richards was never known to leave too many gadgets behind, but he may have been motivated to sell due to not wanting to lose their funding or opportunity of being the first man on Mars. Not to mention its terraformer and colonizer. His need was Osborn's gain. His gain was now Dr. O's bounty. Mixing in with the other minions, Peter steps into the assembly line as they walk through the front entrance of the Baxter building towards the elevator. What secrets lie in the Baxter building? And does every minion get FaceTime with the doc? Peter stands silently as the elevator rises towards the top. Now, if you remember the finale of Dr. No, Sean Connery dresses up as one of the radiation technicians, the rocket labs, and he starts to sabotage it. And that's how he gets caught. So maybe we do something like that. I want to have a little fun. Or maybe he notifies J. Jonah Jameson and tells him what's really going down. Peter's got to figure out what's going down. He's got to see it. We can't just deduce it in his fucking head. He's got to see Dr. O's plan. Peter stands silently and as the elevator rises towards the top. Seeing all the minions at work, one could definitely tell that the doctor wasn't planning on leaving in the morning. So there's another motivation at play besides money. Unless I'm just overthinking it, and he's just another scumbag thief with a fancy chair and a lot of mouths to feed. As the elevator rises, Peter looks through the glass towers and watches as several minions are spread out all over the building doing various tasks of construction, such as weld hammering. I think back to that interview with Mayor Osborn, with his grand plan of turning the Baxter into an orbiting skyscraper and hotel, a space station-style residence that stays on Earth, with luxury views for those who get bored of the same images outside their window. So what did the Doctor have planned? He sees a group of minions melting down gold into liquid metal. Once I get a look at the smelting division of this criminal enterprise, I suddenly realize the Doctor's preference for gold, as opposed to the lighter and more efficient digital and paper currency. He was going to take Osborn's blueprints for the Baxter and build himself a flying skyscraper, off the earnings of the city he despises. Poetic, if not psychotic. The elevator arrives at the top of the building, where Peter sees the back of Dr. Rowe's head in the distance. Bubbled head in the distance. Especially because my spider sense is tingling. As the elevator opens, Peter takes a step towards the Doctor, but hesitates, watching as the Doctor oversees the construction of on the several monitors in front of him. He's not paying attention to Peter at the moment. Every instinct is telling me that the Doctor doesn't plan to honor the deal. Wrapped up in his construction, I could take a shot at him right now. Make a move before one of those nanobots so much as sneezes. But then I hear Uncle Ben in my head, with the Commissioner babbling right behind him. And I remember to think a few moves ahead and around. All right, there we are. We're all caught up. Peter is not going to make a move on Dr. Rowe. Instead, he's going to expose the operation. How does he expose it? By contacting the man who hates him the most, the head of media in all of Empire City, Mr. J. Jonah Jameson. But he has to expose him first. So Peter, instead of going after Dr. Rowe, will step back into the elevator, go downstairs, pull out his camera, and become Peter Parker. Take pictures, get some recordings, and then he's going to start uploading it to J. Jonah Jameson. And then basically he's going to spend page 13 uncovering Dr. Rowe's plan. So we have to put together the fucking plan and what he's doing with all liquid metal. And the idea is he has to expose the Doctor that the Doctor does not have the he has to expose him as a fraud. What we have to do here with these 2 pages, or build up to, through our second half here, Peter has to expose Dr. Rowe's operation, that he does not have the capability to drop the city. So what's going to happen is, Peter's going to expose it at first. He won't be exposed himself. He'll expose it to J. Jonah Jameson, who will go live. We need to use Jameson in here, and that's the perfect way to use him to expose the thing, but we got to expose the thing first. Then, the cops will be storming towards the building, but Dr. Rowe will have his weaponry. So Spider-Man's got to turn around and say, fuck that, I got to take out the army, and he goes apeshit, Bruce Lee fucking Game of Death style, fucks up all the minions until he gets to the top where Dr. Rowe's waiting for him. So I'm thinking we're not going to use Norman Osborn. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to write this 24-page story. This 24-page story is going to be Spider-Man versus Dr. Rowe. Exposing the operation, taking out the bad guys, taking out Dr. Rowe, either in fucking put his ass in prison or we're going to kill him at the end of the fucking story. Got to figure it out. Alright? Maybe they'll fucking fight in the Baxter building, will shoot up into the fucking sky, or they'll fight on a fucking rocket. Something cool. Got to come up with something cool, something interesting and unique. And then the story will be over at page 24, and then we have an epilogue where Spider-Man will have a confrontation with Norman Osborn. I kind of want that Norman Osborn, Peter Parker, stare down. Like him telling him that he didn't kill his parents, that there were other people after his parents, and Peter's got to decide whether or not he believes them. And then once we get that, we have our epilogue. We set up the AracKnight returns. But Peter can even tell, or Norman can even say, this town may not be big enough for the both of us. So perhaps you should leave. That kind of thing. Something Nick Fury, but in reverse. It's Norman Osborn instead of Nick Fury. Norman's alive. waiting at Peter's apartment at the end of the story. I should have wrote all that instead of just saying it, but it was fun to say. I'm going to go get a water. We're going to write ourselves 2 fucking pages of comic book. Think a few moves ahead and around. Takes a step towards. All right, so we have him at page 12, panel 7. He's out of the elevator. Peter steps back into the elevator. We show a montage of Peter with his automatic camera on his belt, taking secret pics patiently of the entire operation of Dr. O. Peter will learn the nature of his plan and that he doesn't have the capability to take down Empire City. He is out of resources. Peter will then slip away to contact J. Jonah Jameson. Or he will get the info to Uncle Ben. Nah, it's got to be James. It's got to be Peter Parker and Jameson. Jameson will go live and expose Dr. O. So we can get rid of that line. Dr. O, now exposed, will order the minions into position to attack the oncoming police. Peter will then have to take out all of the minions. Darth Vader, Rogue One style, violently. Like Dr. O already said, execute everyone. You know what I mean? Peter will have to stop it. Peter's going to have to kick everybody's ass. And we're going to use it. They're going to fight all over this fucking building. All right, let's do some mining. Peter steps back into the elevator. And I remember, let's get that last line. Every instinct is telling me the doctor doesn't plan to honor the deal. Wrapped up in his construction, I can take a shot at him right now. Make a move before one of those nanobots as so much as sneezes. But then I hear Uncle Ben in my head, with the commissioner babbling right behind him. And I remember to think a few moves ahead and around. Peter steps back into the elevator. An impulsive move could bring harm to the city. An impulsive move could cause Panic Doctor to bring. An impulsive move could cause a Panic Doctor to bring harm to the city. So this wouldn't be a move. This wouldn't be a job for Spider-Man. or Peter Parker. An impulsive move could cause a panicked doctor to bring harm to the city. So this wouldn't be a job for Spider-Man or Peter Parker. Nah, that's cheesy. So in order to properly pull this off, I would need assistance and evidence. Because it is a job for Spider-Man. He's using his fucking camera and he's using Peter Parker. So that's a stupid line. An impulsive move could cause a panic doctor to bring harm to the city. So in order to properly pull this off, I would need assistance and evidence. All right, so boom, he steps back into the fucking elevator. We show a montage of Peter with his automatic camera on his belt, taking secret pics patiently of the operation of the. We show a montage of Peter with his automatic camera on his belt, taking secret pics patiently of the entire operation of Dr. O. We see the camera going off silently while Peter brings supplies to the metallic, to the gold smelters. While he brings gold to the smelters. See? I would be patient and expose the operation. Expose the doctor as the fraud. The same way he exposed the mayor. I would be patient and expose the operation. Expose the doctor as the fraud, the same way he exposed the mayor. For the first time in a while, I felt like an actual adult. But now I was thinking like an actual adult. I like that. Peter will learn the nature of his plan, but he doesn't have the capability to take the. All right, so well, that'll be the line. Still disguised. Still in disguise. We see Peter with a group of minion technicians as they observe the nanobots transferring the liquid gold into pillars of coating throughout the Baxter walls, creating a shell inside the building. See, I'm on a roll here, so I'm not going to dip into the comic book just yet. The doctor was dug in like a Civil War general. The doctor was dug in like a Civil War general. As I kept my mouth shut and followed orders, I kept my ears open. I kept my ears open and absorbed every bit of minion gossip Down to the catering choices. I kept my ears open and absorbed every bit of minion gossip down to the catering choices. And recorded every bit of it. Free of the army of nanobots, which were now fully engaged, building a shell around the Baxter. Free of the army of nanobots, which were now fully engaged, building a shell around the Baxter. People then slip it. You can't contact him yet. We see Peter's camera continue to go off and record as he loads what? As he helps lift and load a thruster into position with the other minions. We see Peter's camera continue to go off and record as he helps lift and load a thruster into position with the other minions. SFX of the loading and thrusting. Get your mind out of the gutter. Oh, I love writing comic books, man. We see Peter's camera continue to go off and record as it helps lift and load a thruster into position with the other minions, building a shell around the Baxter. So my instincts were correct in that Dr. O planned to finish Mayor Osborn's dream project. And even with my novice level calculations, this would take a lot longer than a fortnight. So he planned to keep the city scared and at bay with threats of dropping neighborhoods into the abyss, into the gravitational abyss. The truth is, he was fully spent on his resources. The mayor didn't cave to his ransom, so he had to what? So he had to abandon his lair. And he didn't hide when I called him out, which means he is acting impatient and off his schedule, which I'm sure is messing with his you get into a whole psychological thing. So my instincts were correct in that Dr. O planned to finish Mayor Osborn's dream project. And even with my novice level calculations, this would take a lot longer than a fortnight. So he planned to keep the city scared and at bay, with threats of dropping neighborhoods into the gravitational abyss, when the truth is, he was fully spent on his resources. The mayor didn't cave to his ransoms, so he had to abandon his lair. Which means he is acting impatient and off schedule. The mayor didn't cave to his ransoms, and he had to abandon his lair, which means he is acting impatient and off schedule. So finally we see Peter still in disguise, along with a group of other minions sharing a short coffee and cigar break. Peter continues to silently observe and secretly record the minions. We see Peter still in disguise along with a group of the other minions sharing a short coffee and cigar break. All right, I like this. I like it. So now we need a little more dialogue. Short coffee and cigar break. Peter continues to silently observe and record. Okay, so what does he learn? Which means he's acting impatient and off schedule. All right, so what do we have here? Line. Nice. Peter. Uncle Ben told me not to look for a weakness, but to wait for one. Uncle Ben told me not to look for a weakness, but to wait for one. And once I found it in the break room, I deduced that before the supervisor, all right, Uncle Ben told me not to look for a weakness, but to wait for one. And once I found it in the break room, I deduced that before the supervisor would know I was missing, I had enough time for one phone call. That's right. Oh shit, I gotta send an invoice. I sold the art. Nice. Love when we sell original art, motherfucker. Dr. O now exposed will order no. So then we don't put that in here yet. Comes a reporter. Take down the rival instead of his brawn. Alright, let's do that. Instead of attacking, he'll make his way to the center of construction command center. There we go. We're here. Let's move these notes. To page 14. All right, good shit. I had enough time for one phone call. We see Peter finally left alone as the other minions return to shift. We see Peter finally left alone as the other minions return to shift, sneak away into... To where? To the back of the break room? Where the fuck? Telestar Continental Local Circuit. Okay. We need to get him into one of these rooms. Telestar Continental Local and Closed Circuit TV monitors. Radio sending and receiving room. All right, here we go. All right, so basically, Peter's going to bust into this. We see Peter finally left alone as he sneak away into the radio sending and receiving. Into the radio sending and receiving room of the Baxter building. Right, I had to wait for when I found it in the break room. Once I found it in the break room, the only spot without cameras or nanobots. Uncle Ben told me not to look for a weakness, but to wait for one. And once I found it in the break room, the only spot without cameras or nanobots, I deduced that before the supervisor would know I was missing, I had enough time for one phone call. No, because he's got to go to the radio and resending room. Okay. Uncle Ben told me not to look for... There's no break room. They didn't make a fucking break room. We see Peter still in disguise along with a group of other minions sharing a short coffee and cigar break. Inside the old communications studios of... But wouldn't Dr. O be in there? No, because he's at the top. He's at the top in the observatory. So Peter's got to go all the way up to the observatory. But minions melting down liquid gold. Once I get a look at the smelting division of the criminal enterprise. The elevator rises to the top of the building. The observatory. But Peter sees the back of the doctor's bubbled head and the difference. Doctor's preference for gold. Okay, he's going to take Ocean's... Build himself a flying skyscraper. So the line would be right here. Okay. The doctor was holed up. The doctor was holed up good and secure. The doctor was holed up good and secure in the rooftop observatory. The doctor was holed up good and secure in the rooftop observatory. Once I got to look at the smelting division of this criminal enterprise, I suddenly realized the doctor's preference for gold, as opposed to the lighter and more efficient digital and paper currency. Let's make that an ampersand. He was going to take Osborn's blueprints. Okay, so we're all back to normal here. All right, good. You just needed a good line in there about where the fucking doctor is. The doctor should be right there in the observatory. And he comes rolling down. Uncle Ben told me not to look for a weakness, but to wait for one. And once I found it, in the makeshift break room, one second here. Continental local closed circuit TV. See, wouldn't the doctor be in there? Now he'd be in the observatory with his own shit. I need him at the top. He's at the top of the fucking pagoda. You need him there, Game of Death style, because Spider-Man's got to fight his way all the way to the top here. We want a Spider-Man fighting his way up here, Pogo playing the whole thing. Dr. O can fucking land down there. The cops could come busting in, and Dr. O could be fucking up the cops while Peter's fucking up the minions. Oh, fucking good. You get some Bane fucking Batman bullshit. Oh, I like that. Okay. And once I found it in the makeshift break room, which also happened to be the old radio and receiving room of the Baxter building, the only spot without cameras or nanobots, which also happened to be the old radio and receiving room of the Baxter building, Reed Richards' dedication to all that's vintage and timeless. Reed Richards' dedication to all that is vintage and timeless. The only spot, and currently, the only spot without cameras and nanobots. I deduced that before the supervisor would know I was missing, I had enough time for one phone call. We see Peter finally left alone as the other minions return to shift. Pull up a chair to the radio and receiving. The radio and receiving. What does it look like in there? Oh, she's a good girl. I'm going to walk you as soon as I'm done, baby girl. To the radio and receiving reels. And we see Peter finally left alone as the other minions return to shift. Pull up a chair to the radio and receiving reels and communications equipment as he starts to tinker. As he starts to tinker, we see Peter finally left alone as the other minions return to shift. Pull up a chair to the radio and receiving reels and communications equipment as he starts to tinker like a curious scientist. SFX of the dust blowing off the equipment, showing its vintage shine. Okay? I had enough time for one phone call. Hello, Miss Brandt. Get me J. Jonah Jameson. Get me Jameson ASAP. And tell him it's his best friend. Hello, Miss Brandt. Get me Jameson ASAP. And tell him it's his best friend. With the scoop. And tell him it's his best friend. We see Peter, finally left alone as the other minions return to shift, pull up a chair to the radio and receiving reels of communications equipment as he starts to tinker like a curious scientist. S-effects of the dust blowing off the equipment showing its vintage shine. You know what? You need to have him fuck with it for a second. Close up on Peter. Close up on Peter patching in to Now Magazine. To the office of Now Magazine. Is that how we're doing it? Hello, Miss Brandt. Get me Jameson, ASAP. Get me J. Jonah Jameson. Hello, Miss Brandt. Get me J. Jonah Jameson, ASAP. And tell him it's his best friend. We see Peter finally left alone as the other mid-teams. All right, so I like that's page fucking 13. It's done, ladies and gentlemen. It's done. We move on to page 14. We need to do some mining, so we got to figure out how to set it up. We know what we want to do. We know what we're trying to set up here, so let's set it the fuck up. What do we get out of these comic books? What do we get? We'll see. Okay, I got one more page to write. We're going to start. It's too hot right now. The only reason we're not going right now because it's chill out. Goblin's Last Grasp. Okay, this was the infamous no fucking comic book code stamp on the books because it was about drug dealing and drug use. Harry's all fucked up on drugs. Peter's beating up drug dealers. The Goblin's trying to kill him. So Peter's got to show the error of his ways to make him stop being the Green Goblin. He's trying to bring Harry back to his apartment and lay him down. The Goblin is there to attack because he's chasing him. You look scared, Puck. I always knew you were a coward. So this plays into what we want to do. We want to do an epilogue where after it's all said and done and it's all over, and there's going to be a new mayor, and I'm thinking the new mayor is going to be Jameson. All right, so that's what we're getting out of this shot right here. Let's put it in our notes so we're getting use out of this comic book. In the epilogue of our story, Peter will go back to his place, and he will be confronted by Norman Osborn, who will comment about the new mayor, Jameson, and also have a confrontation with Peter. After they leave off, we can show Norman has collected some of Peter's blood. I like that. See, we wrote the epilogue with just looking at that shot right there. So now we got to lay out page 14. We got 2 comic books to do it. Here's where I end the surprise. The time has come for us to settle things forever. I have a new weapon, one that will nullify your power and make you totally helpless. Worry about that later. First, I have something to show you. No tricks. This isn't a trick. It's my only chance. Gotta pierce the cloud of madness in his brain. He's slowing down. He says, that boy in your arms, I know him. See, he's flipping out. I can't. You're I'll come back, Parker. You're gonna die. Worry about him later. My God, get Harry to a hospital. They get Harry to the hospital. Harry is ODing on drugs. He's flipping out because Mary Jane's being a cunt. Gwen's up in London. She's missing here. She decides, I can't stay here. London sucks. It's always raining. The accent sucks. People suck. Gordon Ramsay sucks. She's going back. So now Peter's going around. He sees the drug dealer. And he realizes he's got to beat up the fucking drug dealer. Drug dealers, boys come over. They got to pretend. And Peter, of course, beats the shit out of him because he's fucking Peter Parker. So we need to look at some good action moves that he throws guys into the wall and shit. It ain't possible. Nobody can move so fast. Says, you should just kill him. All right, so we got Jameson here. Yeah, that's nice. Real nice of you, mister, considering I'm the boss. What's wrong, Joni? You sound upset. So what? I'm always upset. It's this item, Osborn's kid. I don't like it, Robbie. The kid's father's one of our biggest advertisers. He's not going to like us bringing this story. It's all about the drug issue. This is all about kids doing drugs that affects poor kids, it affects rich kids. So now Peter's going to face off with you. You always love how they always throw the skyscrapers in. I always kind of love, they always throw the fucking, Peter's in the urban jungle, man. How I used to pity those 9-to-5ers when I was alive. But now when I think of them going home to their wives, their easy chairs, no goblins, no secret identities, I feel like an inmate saying to the outside world is mad. Nuts! But it's the goblin. Oh, there he is. The goblin is coming up. Spider-Man up. He's shooting his fucking webs at him. It's a great fight scene. He's climbing walls. He's got them all fucking dizzy. He's shooting with mist, which is nullifying his powers. He can't stick to walls. He's falling down the walls. Flip! It's working. He's run out. He's facing a dangerous madman. He's shooting at him. He's bubbling over. He's swinging around. A video won't last long. We need these to look at to get the idea. So when Peter is fighting his way, and they're fighting their way down the tower, remember the fable of the old man of the sea. Peter, before Dr. Octopus can attack, not only he has to fight the minions, he's got to basically take out the power. When you designed it to take away my sticking power, he takes him to see Harry in the hospital. Ding, woman flips out, finally drops him, and gets him there. Care of his son. Destroy the pills. He sees Gwen. He gets the love of his life back. Spider-Man finally gets a happy ending. Which gets us to Spider-Man 99. It's getting weird because Stan Lee is just getting kooky, and you can tell because this is pretty much his last year as the full-time Spider-Man writer. He lasts a little bit longer on Fantastic Four, and then eventually he just goes and starts making movies, getting developmental deals, and getting laid in Hollywood. And I think Roy Thomas takes over on Fantastic Four, or John Byrne, somebody takes over. Who the fuck knows? We're going when I'm done here, baby, I promise. All right, let's do this shit. Do we want to show Jamie? Okay, so we need to have a cut now. We don't need to see Peter uploading the files to Jameson. We just know Peter is called into Now magazine. So on page 14 now we need to move. We need to move the pieces. We need to expose Dr. O. Dr. O now exposed will order the minions in position to attack the cops. Peter will then have to take out all the minions, Darth Vader Rogue One style. Instead of attacking, he will make his way into the center of the construction and command center and get a communication out to Now magazine and Jameson to expose the Doctors live. No live stream. He's got to use Jameson to do it. As Spider-Man, he will have to have an uneasy truth with Jameson in order to give him the story. Get me J. Jonah Jameson ASAP. And tell him it's his best friend. We cut to Dr. O in the observatory. As his chair elevates him into position to make an announcement We cut to Doctor on the observatory as his chair elevates him into position to make an announcement to his minions. As he watches, as he observes construction. So let's get Dr. O making a little speech to his boys, which will, of course, be cut off when J. Jonah Jameson goes live. Let's do it. Dr. O. My minions. You are all doing splendid work. My minions, you are all doing splendid work. When I found you, when I recruited you all, when I found you, you were lost souls, struggling to survive, struggling to survive in a country struggling to survive in a country scorched by implosion, struggling to survive in a country scorched by implosion. Your skills, your skills, your sweat, your very lives, your skills, your sweat, your very lives are now part of the grand revolution. Where we will not only, are now part of the grand revolution. My other captains. See, this is where we get a little, you can't just have just a random speech. It's got to make the illusion that the rest of the Sinister Six are coming back. My other captains. My fellow conquerors. Long believed dead. Are now making their way back into the city. Back into the Empire. To reclaim what was once ours. It was once ours. To take back our claim. My other captains, my fellow conquerors, long believed dead, are now making their way back into the Empire to take back our claim. Whereas an army, we will not only drain this city of all of its resources, of all of its riches, my fellow conquerors, long believed dead, are now making their way back into the city, back into the Empire, to take back our claim. Whereas an army, we will not only drain this city of all of its riches, but lay siege to the rest of the world. And beyond to Mars. Ha 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 ha. Lay siege to the rest of this rotting world. And on to Mars. I mean, they're building a fucking spaceship. Whereas an army, we will not only drain this city of all of its riches, but lay siege to the rest of this rotting world. And on to Mars. Ha 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 ha. Now give him his fucking villain moment. You know, he's gonna die soon. If anything, we could do like a Red Skull kind of ending where they're fighting on the rocket, the pogo plane, and the fucking thing could take off into a goddamn wormhole. Or he could trigger something that'll trigger the wormhole. And it could be the same wormhole that sucks in the Fantastic Four. Now that would be fucking interesting. So Dr. O is laughing with his minions. Enjoying himself. We cut to Dr. O in the observatory as his chair elevates him into position to make an announcement to his minions as he observes the construction. And looks to motivate them. My minions, you're all doing splendid work. When I found you, you were lost souls, struggling to survive in a country scorched by implosion. Your skills, your sweat, your very lives are now part of the grand revolution. My other captains, my fellow conquerors, long believed dead, are now making their way back to the Empire to take back our claim. Whereas an army, we will not only drain this city of all of its riches, but lay siege to the rest of this rotting world. And on to Mars. Ha 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 ha. Close on the Doctor as his maniacal fit of laughter is interrupted by the appearance of several drone cameras and flash and floodlights triggering over the Baxter. SFX of the lights and drones triggering to life. Now we need to do some mining. Gotta mine this issue. Dr. O will then watch in the sky as JJJ makes a live broadcast. Dr. O needs to do something to expose Spider-Man. Dr. O will then watch in the sky as JJJ makes a live broadcast. Dr. O, now exposed, will order the minions in the position to attack the oncoming police. Peter will then have to take out all the minions, Darth Vader Rogue One style violently. All right, let's do this. We need to do some mining here. We got panel 1 written. We got 5 more to go. I got a dog to take to Starbucks. And I'm going to see Superman tonight. Exclusive tickets from, of course, whatever the fuck, Amazon Prime. We do not rush, though. Don't rush. Make it. And plus, I'm realizing nowadays, you know, the movie even it just starts because they have 400 fucking commercials. Spider-Man is back with Gwen. He's happy. He's a pig and shit. They're loving each other. Who's the art skill Kane, right? Yeah. Pencil, Stanley's still writing. Peter is happy because he's with Gwen. For once, he's going to make like a web spinner. He's going to working. He should quit being Spider-Man, get a goddamn job. He loves Gwen. You know it, lady. And you also know that I'm trying to ask. What I want to know is how will you feel after it? Well, I was wondering if he's an asking to marry him. You want to go steady? You're making my time, and this time you're going to blow it. Hop the question. Holy shit, he's going to... I can't go back to Mr. Osborn. Yeah, he can't get a job. With Osborn, he's afraid he's going to trigger his memories. Peter's like, you know what, dude? I want you to put me on staff. Peter Parker, been looking for you. There's a job with Chris. Let me check it out with Jameson. That prison assignment still up for grabs, JJ? Yeah. All of our top camera to the field. Trying to get a good freelance now. Parker just dropped in. Parker, I wonder where that kid had been. He's better than nobody. So Jameson now is about to do his broadcast. I'm through selling my shots to you for chicken feed. Well, spare me the crying act, mister. With me, you can get tough with me. Look, chances are Spider-Man may be on the scene, and that means I'll be risking my life for those photos. Because you got me over a barrel, you know I need those pics. And that's not all. I want to be a spare time spare photographer. That means a salary. And what if I say no? Go get the picture yourself. All right, you're bluffing. I am. Try me. $100 for any shots I use, and you got yourself a part-time job. Oh, I like it. So Peter goes into man. Ballsy. I like it. And he's already did that in the Spider-Man movie where he demanded more money. Nothing keeps me from where it's happening. Just as I thought, police cordons all around the building, and far be it from me to break through the police line. A couple of cons guarding the roof. Also, the prison's been taken over. Peter busts into a prison, and he sees the prison has been taken. But he finds out that the reason the prison's been taken over is because the guards are very mean. Is that what it is? The gripes? Yeah. You can't get away with this, Turbo. You're selling those cons. Skip the sob story, man, if you want to stay healthy. They do the ride, and Turbo's going to escape. So the prison's been taken over. Peter's got to get in there. Fuck some shit. Which, of course, is what we're going to have him do. And he's got to clear the fucking tower. 2 more of Turbo's men outside the doors. That's all I want to know. Oh, he was fuck up some prisoners. One of the coolest scenes ever, if you ever watched Daredevil Season 3, is when they got to get, or Season 2, when they got to get Matt Murdock out of that prison, and that prison ride's taking place, and it's so shit so well, and he's hoping they keep the same fucking team on the Marvel show, but they didn't. Fuck, I don't watch it. The ride has ended from now, but if we don't get the money we need, the reforms we need, apparently this is one of those prison reform issues. Carson spots Peter. Oh, Johnny Carson. This is a Johnny Carson issue. He was on the show until the prison reform. Stupidest thing I've ever seen. He used this one issue for people to talk about prison reform. It means Stan Lee obviously was being fucking pressured to talk about prison reform. You don't get paid till Friday, right? So he's got to go buy a ring for May, but he don't get paid till Friday. So he's going to go on Johnny Carson and get paid. Carson's on there. Fasten your seatbelt. Spider-Man. Cheesy issue. They throw Spider-Man on the fucking Carson show, and instead of talks about fucking prison reforms. Talk about the man who stayed locked up for months waiting for trial because there aren't enough judges, enough courts, crime and justice, everyone's problem. Don't commit the crime, you fuckers. Spider-Man gets lost, swings around too. He's got to propose to Gwen. I knew you would be late, but why do you look so downcast? I'm just disappointed, and I wanted to take you to the best place in town, give you the moon, but Peter Parker, you're an idiot. What do you mean? I had no intention of going out. I spent all noon cooking dinner for us. We're staying right here. One time having you to you assume that they fuck. And I don't like that Straczynski later on reveals they didn't fuck. In my mind, they fucked. They fucked here at the end of this fucking issue. Which brings us here. Do we want to use this issue, the 100th anniversary issue, or do we save it? Did we get enough out of that issue to put to this page? All right. JJJ. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Empire City. This is J. Jonah Jameson. Now magazine. With a story so big. I had the commissioner Allow me to disrupt all live streams for this emergency broadcast. Good evening, Empire City. This is J. Jonah Jameson, Now Magazine, with a story so big, I had the commissioner allow me to disrupt all live stream for this emergency broadcast. For this emergency exclusive. So you gotta have this emergency exclusive. The close-up of the doctor, his maniacal fit of laughter is interrupted by the appearance of several drone cameras and floodlights triggering over the Baxter. SFX of the lights and drones triggering to life. So now we're going to expose the doctor. Jerking up and nearly out of his chair as he bumps his head on the roof of his bubble shell. Dr. O will then watch in the sky as JJJ makes a live broadcast. Over the cityscape of Empire City. Alright, so let's get Jameson to do his thing. Thanks to the help of... She shouldn't say it first. Thanks to the help of an anonymous source of a cough. And thanks to the help of an anonymous source, we now know that Dr. O is jerking us all. Nah, he's not jerking us all. Is a fraud. He plans to bankrupt the city. He plans to bankrupt the city and use all of our gold. And use all of our precious metals. He plans to bankrupt the city and use all of our precious metals to finance a spaceship blueprint. To finance a spaceship blueprint that he stole from the mayor before he executed him. Before he blackmailed and executed him. Okay. Jerking up and nearly out of his chair as he bumps his head on the roof of his bubble shell. Dr. O will then watch in the sky as JJJ makes a live broadcast over the cityscape of Empire City. SFX of Dr. O bumping his head on his shell. Thanks to the help of an anonymous source. Like, he won't say, can't even say Spider-Man's name yet. Maybe by the end of this fucking novel, he'll like Spider-Man. We now know that Dr. O is a fraud. He plans to bankrupt the city and use all of our precious metals to finance a spaceship blueprint that he stole from the mayor before he blackmailed and executed him. We see a shot of Commissioner Stacy, who is like a general at the center of his police force as they arm up and get ready to storm the Baxter Building. This supposed dictator, this makeshift emperor has been lying to us all. He is using this army, his army of nanotechnology. This makeshift emperor has been lying to us all. He is using his army of nanotechnology along with a militia of recruits from the wasteland below. This makeshift emperor has been lying to us all. He is using his army of nanotechnology along with a militia of recruits from the wastelands below to terraform the Baxter Building. He no longer has the resources. He no longer has the resources, or not no longer. He has not the resources or manpower. This makeshift emperor has been lying to us all. He is using his army of nanotechnology, along with a militia of recruits from the wastelands below, to terraform the Baxter Building. He has not the resources or manpower. And while we cower under his threats and demands, living in the fear. Remember, he's a broadcaster, living in the fear of this makeshift. You already used makeshift. This makeshift emperor, of this paper deity. He is a man trapped in his own shell. This makeshift emperor has been lying to us all. He is using his army of nanotechnology, along with a militia of recruits from the wastelands below, to terraform the Baxter Building. He has not the resources or manpower. Along with a militia of recruits from the wastelands below, to terraform the Baxter Building. Which means he has not the resources or manpower. Which means he has not the resources or manpower, and is using us while he bides his time. While he bides his time and builds his dream house. And while we cower under his threats and demands, living in fear of this paper deity, he is a man trapped in his own shell. So Peter exposed it. We see a shot of Commissioner Stacy, who is like a general at the center of his police force, as they arm up and get ready to storm the Baxter Building. Right? So what do we do with these last two panels? What do we do with these last two panels? I gotta do that. This new card, yours. Right? Just gonna pay this guy. Kentucky. I was replacing two that got splashed. Not even on the plastic sleeve. Hope that was soon enough. Ay, fucking Kickstarter is being a pain in the ass. They're fucking everybody's pledges up. All right. Jerking up and nearly out of his chair as he bumps his head into the roof of his bubble shell. Dr. O will then watch in the sky as JJJ makes a live broadcast over the cityscape of Empire City. Story so big I had the commissioner allow me to disrupt all live streaming for this emergency exclusive. Plans to bankrupt the city, use all of our precious metals to finance a spaceship blueprint that he stole from the mayor before he blackmailed and executed him. This makeshift emperor has been lying to us all. He is using his army of nanotechnology, along with a militia of recruits from the wastelands below, to terraform the Baxter building, which means he has not the resources or manpower, and is using us while he bides his time and builds his dream house. And while we cower under his threats and demands, living in fear of this paper deity, he is a man trapped in his own shell. So does Dr. O, he's got to be insulted by that. Okay. Angered and insulted. Dr. O will regain his composure and start planning to attack the police. Son of a... Alert! There is a mole in our midst. All minions. Go to attack protocol. Son of a... Alert! There is a mole in our midst. All minions go to attack protocol. No doubt this idiot just alerted. No doubt this idiot just alerted the police force. Son of a... Alert! There is a mole in our midst. All minions go to attack protocols. Go to attack protocol. No doubt this idiot just alerted the police force. Suspend all operations. So we have to put it here. All minions. Suspend all operations. And go to attack protocols. No doubt this idiot just alerted the police force. Angered and insulted, Dr. O regained his composure and stopped planning to attack the police. No doubt this idiot just alerted the police force. Let's move this. Exposed. You will position to the oncoming police. If you don't have to take out all the minions, as Spiderman, you have an uneasy truce. Sorry, give him the story. We got that. Want to jump the doctor and fight him. Broadcast lies to the public. I love it. Dr. O as a reporter or Spider-Man now. He's going to let Jameson do it. Rip the city off. He's going to drain it of all its power, not sinking it, but leaving it empty. Plans to drain the swamp. He will be exposed and have to fight his way out by taking out all the minions all commando style. Yeah, I like that. Keep that there for now. Norman could be a captive of Dr. O. No, we're going to do a... Norman will do the epilogue. Spider-Man said the actor was just another common thief. Dr. O wants to bust to the back to access Reed Richards' toys, which he needs to survive because he can't breathe outside of his shell. Yeah. The final fight between Spider-Man and Dr. O be at the Baxter building with a fight with all the gadgets left over from Reed Richards. That's cool. I like that. Lizard can find his way to Mayor Osborn either in this chapter or set up as an Easter egg something in the future. Yeah. Or we can have... We can have that. We can have go to his lab, work on the lizard. Norman could be on the run. We could show some more of the character, leave him for a while, but don't bring him back too early. Yeah, we don't want to do that. We said epilogue. Norman and Peter have a confrontation, so Norman could be hiding somewhere. Spider-Man will find him. Get rid of that. Closure, the epilogue of our story. So we got what we needed here. Here's what's left of our notes, which we'll use when we do 15 and 16 next class. And when we finish 15 and 16, that'll be the end of the second act. We shall see, we shall see. Angered and insulted, Dr. O will gain his composure and start planning to attack the police. We see several minions arming up with laser guns. We see several minions arming up with laser guns as others run for bombs. As others stack up bombs. Close up on Peter, still dressed as a minion, nearly taken out by minions running past or around him. We see several minions arming up with laser guns as others stack up bombs. All right. Dr. O continues to talk over his army. Now, we're basically done here. We're not going to be using Amazing Spider-Man 100 today, because we know what we want to do. We don't need that issue to do it. We'll save it for the next class. Nothing must prevent our destiny. Nothing must prevent our destiny. Once you see any opposition in range, nothing must prevent our destiny. Once you see any opposition in range, do not hesitate. Show no mercy. Kill them all. Nothing must prevent our destiny. Once you see any opposition in range, do not hesitate. Show no mercy. Kill them all. Burn them all. Do not hesitate. Show no mercy. Close-up on Peter, still dressed as a minion, nearly taken out by minions running past or around him. Peter reacts as Dr. O makes one more demand of his army. The doctor's got to be flipping out right now. So let's give him the Mad King line to end today's class and these particular 2 pages. Burn them all. I love it. Burn them all. The Mad King. Burn them all. All right. That's it, kids. We did it. Let fate and faith decide your fortune. And if you like what you see, buy a textbook on PharosLounge.com. PharoCane.com will throw in the damn link. Peace, love, and war. All that shit.